What is going on, Future Focus family? My name is George, and on this channel, we make videos to help you make money investing. And today, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the markets. Before we get into all that, being that this is the first live that we're doing since those tragic events that happened last week with that cowardly attack in Afghanistan, I want to take a moment of silence and pay respects to those Marines and that sailor that died in Afghanistan. With all that said, let's get right into it. So today we're going to talk about a few different topics. We're going to do something I like to do called Smash or Pass. We're going to talk about a few storylines that are rocking the markets today. Right now, currently, the S&P 500 is down 0.08%. The Dow is level for the day, hasn't really moved up or down much. And the NASDAQ is down 0.24%. Moving on to gold and silver. Currently, gold is down 0.07% and silver is down 0.13%. And that's for you, Matt, because I know you always focus on the gold and silver as well. Currently, the VIX is up 1.33%. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. But what we're going to talk about, the first thing I wanted to talk about, man, was this article I just read. It was on Yahoo Finance. I'm going to share it with y'all. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And it's this story right here. And this is something that's going to be pending. This has to do a lot with the housing market. So for this from Goldman Sachs. So a sharp, rapid increase in evictions as the moratorium ends. Landlords owed billions. So this article here, facing staggering amount of back rent, hundreds of thousands of individuals and families may be put out of their homes this year as the eviction moratorium comes to an end, according to the research from Goldman Sachs. Following the Supreme Court's decision last week to strike down the pandemic-era policy that kept renters in their homes despite being unable to pay. Economists at the investment bank said on Monday that about 750,000 U.S. households will ultimately be evicted later this year, barring actions by Congress. Crunching data from the Census Bureau and landlord trade groups, Goldman estimated that roughly 2.3 to 3.5 million American households are behind on rent, with landlords owed as much as $17 billion. Delinquent renters appear to be safe from eviction until at least October. However, the High Court's decision to lift the federal ban on evictions indicates that further action may need to be taken by Congress, and certain states are doing that. Certain states have gone as far as saying, we're going to help you out a little bit longer. But this is kind of actually hurting some of us that are investors and are investing in the real estate market. This is kind of hurting us some. There's actually people out there. Fortunately, my tenants have been good and I haven't been hit with this, but there's people out there that it's cheaper to pay their tenant to leave, like $4,000, $5,000, than to leave them in there fighting a legal battle trying to get these people out. There's people that are taking advantage of that. And that's one of the reasons that I haven't bought any houses since I've been back from back to the United States from Japan, is to deal, because if I buy one, it's going to be an investment home, and I don't want to deal with these high prices, so I don't want to overpay. And then the government's really protecting the renters, and that's really hurting landlords. What are your thoughts, Matt? While I bring in my brother.
What George said, there's a price that he's willing to say no to. I agree as well. I believe it's a little lofty. But that was my question that I had for the day is, and it's kind of related to the tapering. And I know I call for the no taper, but we have to see, man, because there's a lot going on, right? That's affecting the housing market. You have this storm, right? What is it, Ida? That's going to displace a lot of people. And then we're still in the middle of dealing with Delta, the Delta variant. I I think there's a number of black swan events, right? If you want to call it that, because we know about it. Um, that could make them reverse. I wouldn't be shocked if the rent moratorium continues. But either way, let's play devil's advocate. If they really do drop the shoe and they go through with the renters moratorium or end it, I think it's gonna cause a pop in the housing market, and I think it could trickle into the stock market. And
That's something I'm looking for. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think they're gonna respond with more QE.
That's something I'm looking for. I'm looking for the bubble to pop. Houses prices continue to rise as the supply is diminishing, and the home builders that were building houses and trying to build them as fast as possible, they've been forced to slow down because of the rising prices and things like lumber and things like steel. They've had to reduce the amount of houses that they're building because they'll be in the middle of a project of building a brand new complex or house or building or some sort of structure, and they'll have
Mhm.
to go and tell the person that paid, hey, I know we agreed on this much in the contract, but due to the rising prices of lumber and rising prices of this and that, we're going to have to increase that price. If not, we're not going to be able to finish on time. And it's going to be, the juice is not going to be worth the squeeze for us to continue on going with this structure. So people are paying more than they had a contract to pay for. Um, but have you heard of stuff like that going on? Matt, you still there? All right, we're having a little technical technical difficulties with Matt. Um, one of the things we'll get into. You still there, Matt?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
freezing on me.
yeah.
Mhm.
So the next thing we'll move into is how you feeling on the gold and silver market. We haven't really talked about that lately. So what's your thoughts on how gold and silver's been reacting?
I'm seeing both sides. I'm seeing a lot of people give up on the community. They're saying that it's not what it once was, and Bitcoin is the wave. And I'm seeing a lot of people transfer over, and then I'm seeing the opposite as well. I just saw, what's his name? Is his name Paulson? Paulson. I want to send you the article, but he cleared the billion, calling the last housing bubble. So according to him, he just came out today saying, or yesterday for that matter, saying that he gave his little prediction. He said Bitcoin is zero, buy gold. I'm very wary of betting against Bitcoin and Tesla, and especially, but it's funny because I wonder if he shares the same sentiment of how I feel that I think right now, this is just me, my little thesis. I think the government is buying time until they're ready to roll out with whatever they're rolling out with. Um, we saw what China did. I know China is they're in a league of their own with suppression and lack of First Amendment rights, what have you. But sometimes they, especially nowadays, they seem to be the forefront of certain rules and regulations. Case in point with COVID.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. And I say that saying I'm invested in both, but one makes me sleep easy at night is no action, right? It's like a boring marriage.
Yeah.
And the other one is like the exciting girlfriend.
The side chick.
And there you go, right? And it's exciting, but it's very volatile. It's like I could get killed,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. She
So
might tell she might tell the command. You never know.
oh
she
oh
might she might call
oh
the duty hut. You never know.
oh yeah, man,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So my opinion on gold and silver, I think it's just in consolidation, man. I think it's
Mm,
literally waiting to see what happens next. Um, like right now, the Fed still didn't give people what they thought they were going to get. However, Powell was a little more in the Fed. When they talk about the Fed, they talk about either being hawkish or dovish, and even though it could be a little negative, they'll call it hawkish, and it's not really negative. But he said that he is willing to consider um, monetary, the policy, like, you know, tweaking back a little bit. And that would start with the asset purchases, or, you know, the mortgage backed securities that are being purchased at what, like $28 billion a day or a week, $28 billion a week that we're purchasing. I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we go and we try to sell these securities. Yeah, so right here, Markets Insider, John Paulson says crypto is a bubble set to pop and recommends buying gold. So, you know, if you're gonna buy it, I know you got, like, you said something back, but I'm thinking about 1800. Like, that's when I say that, it has nothing to do with the price of gold, the price of silver.
Mm,
It's just looking at the technical
I get you. I
movement.
get you. I
Yeah,
get you.
so
I,
it
so, and you know, I get that. And I don't want to come with the Johnny, you know, the Crimea River, but it's like I get that, but it's not even real statistics because the thing is getting rigged, kind of like the bond market. You know, who's the biggest buyer of bonds? You buying
ourselves.
bonds? You know anybody buying bonds?
No.
I actually bought a bond, not recently, but I bought a bond.
Yeah. So the people that buy our bonds nowadays is more people from other countries where their local bonds are yielding rates that they basically have to pay the the government every month.
Do you know who is, and let me be specific because I know that might be truth in what you said. So let me narrow it down. You know who's the biggest buyer of the 10-year bond
Um, this
or
is me
10-year
speculating because I don't know, but
uh-huh.
it might be Japan, but that's just me speculating.
I want to say I don't want to spread fake news. I don't want to get on this gracious platform and spread fake news. But
Yeah.
I think there was a statistic saying that the Federal Reserve owns 60% through the yield curve control program.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay, that makes sense.
so my the point and they're not the only ones. I don't want to like demonize them. Do you know who owns most of the Japanese debt? The Japanese
No,
government. You
the
know what I mean?
Japanese. Yeah, yeah.
And that's why you probably say, well, why? If you ever notice, I don't know now, but sometime this year, definitely last year, they had negative interest rates. Who in the world would invest in negative interest? The government, if they're buying their own debt. That way they get paid to borrow
Yeah.
their own money. You know, but most people we know are not buying. What's the 10-year at?
No.
1.35? That's terrible, dude.
Yeah. It bottomed out around 119. And then since then it's resurfaced, but it came down from about 170. So right now is like it's in price discovery, trying to figure out where to go next. So with that 10-year, another net buyer of those is the hedge funds and mutual funds that need to buy it simply because of their government, like the rules that they have set in place. You know, they have to have a certain amount of their books in bonds. More of like the retail investors, if you guys ever think about buying bonds or you're speculating on it, look into municipal bonds, as those bonds at least will give you some sort of tax security, as the interest that you receive back on those, you're not going to have to pay taxes on those. But they're called munis. You could look those up, municipal bonds. If you did want to add bonds to your portfolio, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't have any bonds in my portfolio. Not saying I never will, but I may get those as I get into my early 50s, late 50s. You know, I might
You know
start transitioning.
You
Huh?
know why you don't have no bonds? Because it's boring and it
Yeah.
sucks. That's let's be real, all
Yeah.
right? Because it
Uh,
sucks.
Hey,
The point
once I start getting my prostate examined, I might turn into James Bond. You never know. They'll start
well,
calling me James Bond.
you brought up a very good point, and you said that the hedge funds and a lot of banks buy bonds. That is very true, but I just want to shed light on why they're almost remember, especially if they're dealing in the repo market, they have to. because that's what they use as collateral in exchange of money. So they, like you kind of alluded to, yes, certain pension funds have to because they're mandated, but also the big banks, the primary dealers, because if they're ever in a tight squeeze, they could exchange their treasuries for liquid money. And the reason they do that, the reason, this is just my theory, the reason it's set up like that is that way the government can always guarantee debt is being bought at no matter the interest rate. But in order to play in a repo market, you have to have bond, you have to have treasuries, have to, even if you don't like it, you know.
And talking about that, Jerome Powell, his statements the other day after the Jackson Hole meeting were pretty much Jerome Powell saying green light, y'all got the green light to continue to buy this market, and people reciprocated by buying the market. After his comments, the market finished up for the day after being down for the day. But things get scary, because you have this hurricane that's tearing things up right now. Shout out to all the people out there. I wish you guys the best. Everybody dealing with Hurricane Ida, everybody in Louisiana. Um, you know, our thoughts and prayers don't do much, but we're with you. We're here. But we're thinking about you. We hope you guys get through this. And then we also have things like a place that's near and dear to you and me, Australia. They're shutting down again over there because of the Delta variant. They're having closures down there in Elizabeth. So that's another thing to consider. New Zealand as well. Their cases have risen a lot, and that's a lot of things to consider as well. And while that's going on, we got Bitcoin almost at an all-time high again. We got Ethereum, up there. Cardano's reached a few all-time highs, and now you got stocks that are reaching all-time highs. You know
I
what I
got
mean?
a shout out for that call. I got to give him a shout out for that call.
Every episode.
I give credit when it's due.
Yeah. So and those are reaching all-time highs over and over. And it's like, when does the party stop? And when it does stop, will it be certain things crash and certain things rise? Like some people structure their portfolio like Ray Dalio. He has the all-weather portfolio that is supposed to stay at least like neutral when there's something bad that goes on in the economy. um I don't know. It didn't really work for him in the March lows when everything sold off. Gold sold off. Crypto sold off. There was no safe haven. Even the 10-year didn't do what it was supposed to do. But right before the 10-year happened, that yield curve was already about to flatten out. So what do you were shaking your head about the Ray Dalio all-weather portfolio? What are your thoughts?
So he has a good strategy, but we live in a market. I don't want to just talk. I would love to show the data, or at least at the very least show articles. There's no price discovery, man. There's no, and I know we kind of saw that a little bit in 2020 when the market would dip in the last 15 minutes of the market. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
The market would just the last 15 minutes. Like that's not a mistake. There's no price discovery. I think extremely big entities, aka the government, they're buying bonds. The primary dealers are buying stocks. They're trying to keep a tight hold on commodities, not just gold and silver, but the other commodities as well. There's very little price discovery. That's why that is one of the, I'll be honest, that's one of the attractive things about Bitcoin right now is it's one of the few places that actually has price discovery. Right? That's why you see so much fluctuation in there, because it's not owned by a big entity yet. You know what I mean? So, but everything else is like, because think about it. What do you think will happen if interest rates hit 2%?
I think there's the market's gonna panic. you know.
Right. And why hasn't it hit 2% if inflation is you see the CPI report. According to their own reports, I want to say it was in the neighborhood of 4 and 5%. That should make the bonds, or at least interest rates, go up to try to level off.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of bonds, is to at least stay on par with interest rate, and we're well under that.
Yeah. And you're completely right. A lot of things in this market are even confusing a lot of economists, like they don't
Mhm.
understand it.
Oh,
People are afraid to make calls right now, you know what I mean? And it's not
mhm.
just what's going on in America that affects our market. The pandemic was a worldwide event that in some places is reoccurring and reappearing, and we're dealing with that. China is a big consensus. There's been a huge sell-off in China, and I know you had a question for me, so my question for you is, do you think that this huge dip in China is buyable? Is this a buyable dip? It's been more than a dip. Their tech sector has been in a bear market. This didn't just start. Like, their tech sector has been in a bear market. So what do you think? Like, is this a buyable dip for companies like Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, JD.com, Didi? Um, and before you even answer, I'm gonna show you this chart right here. This is the company you and I was talking to you about before the show started. Let me share this real quick. So take a look at this chart here. Hold on before I do that. Let me stop sharing that. See if this works right here. So this right here is Gaotu Techedu, and this is a company based in China that deals with the education system. And what happened in China was China said, you know what? We want any company that has to deal with the education system to go from being for profit to being non-profit. So this chart right here, what you're looking at is 2019 through uh we'll say August of 2020, so a year ago. And the price a year ago, it hit a high up here about 142. It didn't finish the day at that price, but it hit a high of 142. But let's move to the right a little bit. Let's see some more price
Ooh,
action.
ooh,
All right. So
ooh,
just check this out.
ooh,
Look at this beautiful chart here.
ugh.
I'm being totally sarcastic. So at a high of 142, and let me look at this day because this day may have been higher. So at a high of 150, almost 148, um, then the news hit immediately, fell to $89. It ended that day at about $39. So that's a big drop. And then little by little, we could move down and just look at like the 1 month chart. It's just been lower lows and lower highs, but now it's been regaining strength. So it's a company that people thought before was worth 148. People were willing to pay that price if it went to that price. And now currently the price today is $2.73. So that's about a 93% decrease from the high. So what do you think, man? Looking at a chart like that, what are
So
your
normally I look for good entries. I know everybody thinks I'm a gold bug and I just want to stay like that. No, I'm really looking for a sell off and a good entry. But my problem here is that China is so restrictive, and I could just see them getting in their own way. Kind of like what I guess a lot of us here, right, in our American politics, what we blame Democrats for, right? Or the tip, whether it's true or not, the whole rules and regulations, over regulating. I think you're seeing that in extreme proportions in China. I think they're stumbling over their feet, and they probably don't even give a crap because they're like, hey, you're gonna provide my service. And if you think you're gonna go out of business, we'll just pump you with money. But you're gonna do as I say. And it could really, they have the potential of, what's the word I'm looking for? Scaring away foreign investment. Because if the government can just come in and set rules, no investor is gonna feel safe, especially for the long term. I like Tencent, but then I heard something crazy. I don't know if it's true. My brother told me today that the Chinese population, again, I hope I could find a reputable article to back this up. The Chinese population is not allowed to play video games during the week. That's what word on the street is. And
Yeah, I saw what you're talking about. It's not the entire population. Um, I saw something like that, true, but I haven't seen it on big news. I saw it like
okay,
on a,
okay,
alternative site, so I don't know if it's true or
okay.
not. But it was 18 years and under. They
I
could only,
that too, yeah.
yeah, so 7 days a week. Uh, they could only play. Oh no, it was only weekends and holidays. So even during the
Right,
weekdays, they
right,
couldn't. So weekends and holidays, they could
right,
play for 1 hour that weekend or
right,
holiday. Yeah.
right.
So if they were 18 and under.
Eh,
So yeah, man.
so let's say let's go on the premise. Maybe it's not true, and I hope not, right? I hope not, but let's say it is. That would scare foreign investment. I think Tencent is a great opportunity. They own Fortnite. That's the biggest thing popping to my head right now. But Tencent, I know people who would love to get in Tencent at great prices. But when you hear news like that in one of the biggest or one of the most populated countries in the world, and they're restricting video game usage, you're like, do I want to invest here? Like you guys are not even trying to create maximum
Yeah.
you know. So it's
It could be a multiple things, man. The other side of looking at it is that China is just being what they always be, and they're just smart. And look what they did with crypto, man. They made these rules. They made the price of crypto go from well, let's just say Bitcoin. They made the price of Bitcoin go from like 60,000 to 30,000, with having a massive sell-off, with everybody in China, saying they couldn't mine anymore. So there was a massive sell-off, right? A lot of that sell-off came from the United States. As the
uh,
price went back to as the price went back to about
wow.
50, when it went back to 50,000, a
Wow.
lot of the purchasing was coming from China, like from wallets in China. So to me, it's like, they're showing you the left hand, take a look at this, but on with the right hand, they're gonna do something else. You know what I mean? And I
I'll go
just
with
did,
that argument. I'll go
yeah.
with that. I'll
And I
go with
just did, I just said right hand, and I, but yeah, they show you the right
I'll,
hand, and then they're doing something else over here. So they're the grand manipulators, man. Like, and I think they can be manipulating. They're not just moving the market, they're also manipulating it so they can buy in more. You know what I mean? Or it's like the same thing with these stocks. A lot of Americans started owning these stocks, and they make comments about it, and maybe as these prices go up, China will be net buyer of these companies, because they have one of the largest, I think the second or third largest economy. Even though their population is shrinking, they're still like 10 times bigger than we are. So think about that purchasing power. You know what I mean? Even if they just use the digital yuan from here on out, they're still using some form of currency to purchase their own products, their local products.
did you hear about their gold rules? Did you hear about their rules on gold?
No, no.
Where
Enlighten us.
they're not allowing any they're only allowing importation, no exportation. So any gold that's mined in the country has to stay in the country. So they don't sell not 1 ounce, and they encourage their population to buy. And it's just my question is, for what? Like, what's going on? What do they plan? What's I personally think, and some people some people reject this argument, but I personally think they're coming for the reserve currency. Now, other people say no, they don't want to be the reserve currency. They like making money off the reserve currency. That is true, but there's a benefit of being a reserve currency, and we're living it now where you could issue as much debt and print money as much as you want, and nobody can say a darn thing to you, right? Eventually, it'll catch up, but that is the. And if you notice, let's take US because a lot of us take it personal. Cool copy. Look at the previous reserve currencies. Why did they stop being reserve currencies? Right? And I can name a few, right? The previous one to America was Great Britain. And I want to say, I'm not sure the one before that. It was either France, and then you got Spain and Portugal in there. But essentially, loose money standards, money printing, they all happen the same. They all go the same way. Large levels of debt. But Great Britain was the reserve currency up until like World War One.
Yeah.
You know, I think World War One funding that war is what kind of made them go kaput, and America was on the rise then. But yeah, something to pay attention to.
Yeah, so that's like they're really smart because they limit us from doing anything there, but they don't limit their own people from doing things out. You know, the Chinese own a lot of real estate in America. We've never limited them. Americans don't own much real. They don't own much real estate there. You know, I think Goldman Sachs and BlackRock are the only two American companies that have funds, some sort of fund in China,
Wow.
and they, you know, and that's just because they're the two biggest in the world. You know, they're
Wow.
they have like the most assets under management. Then you got to give it to like a company like Tesla, man. They like bring a little bit of balance, you know, because as much money as we give China, uh, Tesla is a way for us to get some of that money back because Tesla has to pay some sort of tax of the money they make, even in China, to America, you know, so because they're an American company. So that's like a way of us getting some of that money back to us. Um, and it's not a fair balance, but we have companies like Starbucks out there. We have companies like Apple out there. These are American companies that are actually thriving in China. McDonald's, you know, uh, go. You had thoughts?
Yeah, so and I've heard that, but then the argument is, right? Why would you ever do that? Why would you do business over there so they could steal your intellectual property, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing of I would say modern history where Tesla's not the first tech company we sent over there, but they seem to be really good at reproducing or making knockoff versions of what we make. They're like almost synonymous with that. Whenever you see a knockoff,
Yeah.
people think two things. They think Canal Street, right? And then who sources Canal Street, right?
China does.
Right. It's almost synonymous. So I don't even know why you would send your IP over there because what they'll do is, and I guess the argument could be made that if you send cars over there anyway, they can still break it down, reverse engineer it. But I think it's a little different when you have factories over there. Now you're literally just handing he or them or she or whoever the pronoun is, you're handing them the blueprint. But I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing Tesla technology in Neo. You know, like and that, if hey, if it's worth the money to you, go ahead and do that. But I notice a lot of companies are divesting out of China, specifically Japan. They're calling a lot of companies back to the mainland.
Yeah, they're scared about the growth, man.
Mm,
Kathy Wood, she's facing some criticism because last quarter she was a net seller of Chinese companies and saying, you know, they're uninvestable. And then this quarter she was called out because she started buying them back. And then she kind of like changed her stance on them. You know what I mean?
what you think between the beef of Kathy Woods and my guy Michael Burry?
Um, I don't think it's a beef. I think he sees an opportunity, and that's how he is. You know, he's an opportunist. He sees something that can make him money. And he's famous at shorting, literally in the movie called The Big Short. And then you have Kathy Wood. She hasn't said anything negative about him. She says she respects him a lot. There's actually another guy that I don't know his name. Another guy made an ETF that is the anti-ARC fund or some shit like that. Oh, watch, excuse my language, but he make a fund that shorts her funds. So that's more of a beef to me than
Really?
that seems more personal than the the Big Short going nuts over there.
And maybe I just read too much fake news, but I heard yeah, and maybe like I said, maybe just propaganda, but according to the source, it was thrown that he said, your fund is gonna fail, and she responded by saying, "Well, you're an idiot." But I mean, I, I'm interested because I know low key you're a big Kathy Woods fan, low key, and low key I'm a big Michael Burry fan. Like it's funny how we kind of seeing the two worlds, and you
Collide,
know
yeah.
what? You know what's crazy? I don't think he plans on doing this, but I will not short. I just want to short the market right now. I don't think Burry he's deemed as short in the market, but I think he's according to him, I think he sees hyperinflation.
Yeah.
You know, that's his
He's
prediction.
also got a big short on Tesla, a short position on Tesla.
I heard about that.
And then yeah, Tesla is a big holding. I think still the biggest holding of ARK Invest. So he's kind of playing it both ways there.
Uh, now
Yeah.
I know he's attacked Elon directly in Twitter. That I do know. That is, he'll say, "Hey, sell now, sell now." I'm telling you, sell now. You won't have a
Yeah.
chance to sell later. Sell now. I know he's directed comments directly to Tesla.
Yeah. And
I'm
that's why Elon Musk has like I think it was a pair of shorts that said like Tesla on it or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
he
My short.
fires he fires back.
Mm.
The latter end of the video, we're gonna do an hour. We'll do a daily. This will be a daily thing. So catch us every single day on here on YouTube. The next portion of this is gonna be a portion called Smash or Pass. The first two are gonna be two I threw out there, and from now on, I want to see what you guys want to see us talk about on Smash or Pass. But you know what? Before we get into Smash or Pass, I've just remembered that Matt, the golden child, he has a question. So what is your question? You said you wanted to ask something. What was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it real quick. And I kind of alluded to it already, but do you think the end of the rent moratorium will still go on? Um, once they calculate the aftermath of Ida, and if the Delta variant continues to exceed expectations.
That's a great question. I think at the government level it will. I think it'll just be like the government's going to take their hands off and wash their hands off it and put the responsibility on the states to figure out what the states want to do. So certain states are going to, do something to help out those renters, and other states, I could see Texas being like, you got to go. Like, we've helped you long enough. It's time to go. So you can see like those more of those liberal states being helpful and being like, we'll coddle you guys forever. And then, states like Texas, which are more right leaning, will be less susceptible to help out those renters and say, you got to figure it out. You guys are grown men and women. You decided to sign this lease. And for over a year, we've helped you guys out. It's not like, and the reason for that, man, is that it's not like there's a shortage of jobs out there. Right now, there's like 500 million jobs that are not filled, that are like looking for somebody to take it, and people aren't taking it because they'll make more from the stimulus checks than they will from working, or they're making more from unemployment than they are from working. My brother's an example of that, man. He wasn't even working before the pandemic hit, and he's getting a $600 paycheck every year, and
Mm.
that's not motivation for him to go every month. I'm sorry, and that's not no every week or so. I don't know, but he's getting paid for not doing anything, and that's not really a motivation to go and find a job. You know what I mean?
So with that being said, I think it's going to. I think the government has to be careful. I'm gonna wrap it up. I know you want to go to the next segment, but I think the government has to be careful on how they play this. Right? I'm not encouraging coddling anybody, but if the housing market goes down and evictions happen and landlords, right? Because it's not just about the renters. The landlords get exposed for not paying rent. That, in my humble opinion, I think that's going to affect the MBS. That's going to affect the mortgage-backed securities that the government wants to taper.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind is going to buy that, right? If they could explode in your face, very similar to 07, 08. If people not paying their mortgage, MBS is a dangerous thing to hold.
They're
So,
unattractive.
I'm just curious. Like, I'm curious. I'm hearing these lofty goals. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, they're unattractive. But does that answer your question?
That was a great answer. Yes.
All right, here we go. It ain't popping up, but smash or pass. All right. So the first one that we're gonna do is gonna be Didi. Well, the first stock that we'll look at will be Didi. Give me a second. Let me pull it up here. I'll pull up the chart. So as you can see, this is the 1 month chart for Didi, and we hit a low here about $6 and $7.03. We hit a low, and we bounced nicely off that low. Using the Fibonacci scale, this actually hit on the penny with the Fibonacci scale red. I don't remember if it was exactly $7.03, but using this Fibonacci scale, it hit exactly on there, and then it bounced off. And then it's been higher high since then. I would be a buyer of this one. I would smash under anywhere under $8.30. But as a buyer of this, you need to understand that there could be a lot more volatility that comes with this stock because of what's going on in China with their regulation. Anytime you invest in China, you're going to have to deal with a possibility that their stocks are going to get hit hard because China just decided to make a new rule. You know, the People's Republic, they are trying to put an iron fist down and let these companies know that they don't play around. China was really big on this one because Didi was told to hold off on an IPO. And Didi said, you know what? We're going to IPO. And they went against the People's Republic and IPO'd. And since then, you know, they got hit really hard. However, they decided that they're going to go with a third party auditor to audit their stuff. And they're making moves to help out. There was some fake news that went on out there that said, you know, they weren't going to be allowed to operate anymore. The actual news was that Didi was told they were, or the people in China were told they could no longer download the app. However, a lot of the people that use the app already downloaded it. So just think about this company like the Uber of China, and this company has their hands in a lot of other things. They're trying to be like the PayPal of China as well as they move into a financial sector. And they do a lot of things. If you really want to know more about Didi, I have a video that I made on the company shortly after they IPO'd. So you could look that up on the Future Focus Finance channel on YouTube and just go ahead and go down there. But I'll pass it to you. What do you think?
Oh,
What
that's
do you think
easy.
of?
I'm passing. I'm passing on this. I don't know enough. And in order for me to take a risk in the Chinese market right now, I would like to be extremely familiar with the company. So that's an easy pass.
All
Easy
right.
pass.
Great answer. So there you go. You have me saying I smash at these levels, but with the obviously not with a big chunk of my portfolio. This is a risk, you know. So Just like you do options trading with a certain amount of your portfolio, I would only do a small amount of your portfolio in any company with Chinese stocks. And also look at their statements that they offer you. So a lot of these Chinese companies are not really selling you a piece of their company on the U.S. stock exchange. Some of these companies uh, are just giving you a derivative, and I know derivative is a big word for Matt. So uh, a lot of these companies, you are buying something, but you're not really buying into the company. So just keep that in mind. You're actually buying into a fund that's invested in the company. So a lot of these foreign stocks are like that. Most of the Chinese ones. So look at the statements and do your due diligence research. Matt said he is passing. All right, the next one is going to be a cryptocurrency, and that will be Polygon. All right, so also known as Matic. Before we get into that, I'll pull it up on Google so you guys can see exactly what it is. So
And by the way, that's a very dangerous word you use. Derivative. That thing has shut this whole thing down. The derivative has shut this whole party down. Very dangerous.
So here we go. Ethereum's Internet of Blockchain. So Polygon is a protocol and framework for building and connecting Ethereum compatible blockchain networks, aggregating scalable solutions on Ethereum, supporting a multi-chain Ethereum ecosystem. So this is just a way to scale your decentralized applications. All right. It is able to fully benefit from Ethereum's network effects. It is inherently more secure. It is more powerful. So that's just a little wave top of what Polygon does. So let's take a look at this chart. We'll take a look at, we'll kick it back out to the 3-month chart. It hit a big level of resistance here at the $0.62 range. Since then, it's been, again, like you're going to see in a lot of these cryptocurrencies, it's been higher highs and higher lows, but they're all in a level of resistance right now that's not letting them pass. And until Bitcoin can get past that $55,000 level, a lot of these are going to be stuck in a consolidation period. So right here at the $1.35 level, this is going to be a pass for me. I would not be a buyer of this above the $1.15 mark. I may look like an idiot later on for not paying 20 cents more, but that is just my thought on it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Polygon at all, but it's just that fact that the high was about the $1.70 mark, and it's just too close for me. Too close to the high for me to go and put more money into it. What are you smashing or passing, Matt?
Definitely passing. Only thing I'll look at maybe is if I'm gonna do that, maybe the top 3, top 4, top 5 cryptos. And I know the argument is, well, they weren't always like that. They had to climb in there, but if anything, I'm gonna front end the retail. I'm sorry, not the retail, the institution money.
Yeah.
So
and here you go. By market cap, the 3 biggest would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and my baby girl ADA. Going down the list, you have Binance Coin, the BNB, which is up there because a lot of people are using that to make transactions on Binance. So Binance was really smart by utilizing that. So Binance, this coin here, you have to transfer whatever currency you have into BNB in order to put it on the Binance Smart Chain, the BSC, in order to make transactions over there on your Trust Wallet. And so Binance was hugely smart for making that decision. You have Tether, which is under investigation. You have XRP, which is under investigation. You have Dogecoin, which people think is in a bubble. You have Solana and Polkadot, which I think are great products. So these 2 products right here, they're 8th and 9th. I think they're investable. I don't care about the price today. I think they're investable just because when I look at the top 10 market caps, I think they should be higher on that list. They should be 4 and 5. So these are two other great products that are AKA Ethereum killers. Solana is gaining a lot of popularity, and you could see that in the price. Uh, this is They have a lot of volume. Just while I have you guys here, this is one thing I want you guys to focus on in any crypto you're invested in. Just take a look at the circulating supply. A lot of them have a lot of circulating supply, and some of them don't have any algorithm or any protocol that is erasing them. Ethereum just put one out that is erasing Ethereum, but some of these other coins don't have some sort of mechanism that is deteriorating them as they go on. Some even have the opposite. For example, Dogecoin, there's a protocol in there that creates Dogecoin nonstop every single day. And the limit will be infinity. They're currently at 131 billion Doge in circulating supply. So just keep that in mind whenever you're investing. It's just like how many shares of a stock a company has. A price of Amazon may seem extremely high, but GE may be more expensive at $100 just because of the amount of shares that they have outstanding. So whenever you're investing in a company, cryptocurrency, figure out how much of the supply is out there, because there's something called dilution, and you can easily get diluted by investing in something that you don't understand. But with all that said, we're about the wrap up period of the show. Matt, what are your last thoughts, man?
I thought we was gonna have more smash or passes, man.
We got. I had two out there. You have one?
More. I mean, we can speed through it. I'll speed through
I know.
it.
All right, I got this. This one will be you go first, and I'll pick it.
Okay.
I'll pick it. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm looking it up, and then I'll share the screen. All right. Here we go.
Do it like the lightning round.
So this is gold. Matt.
Let me see it. Gold. Yeah, it's not on the screen. It's not on the screen.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Nah, but I had the idea. Of course I'm a smash. I'm a smash that.
The current price is $18.07, but I would think that you don't care what the current price is. Like you're a believer, so you're gonna press smash anytime. What's your strategy for gold, man? Are you a dollar cost averager?
So that's a great question. The strategy is, what I notice is I do it by years. So this year I've been buying a lot of physical, but last year I was doing more of the equities, right? Which are, by the way, are sucking. But the miners. So I think next year I'll do the miners. By the way, they're underperforming, but if things do go according to plan, and I know this sounds weird, but I really don't want to have to sell my metal. I don't want to sell my metal. Kind of like if you have a house, right? You don't want to sell your house, right? Well, I'm not gonna say that's, but a lot, especially a house in California, people don't want to sell that right now.
Nah.
They want to hold that, and I feel I had the same sentiment with gold, and like it's fine, it's getting beat up, but that's something I plan to have for like decades. Yeah. I don't want to sell right now, and they could beat it up, manipulate it all they want to. I'm gonna hold on to it.
All right, and looking at the 5-year chart, gold hit a high of 2,071 cents. So 2,000 is going to be a level of resistance that's going to be really strong. Just looking here closely at this chart, even the 1918, we'll say $19-20 level is going to be another level of resistance once it goes up. But the fact that it's hit this $2,000 mark, if what Matt is predicting does go down, it does happen, like it could just shoot straight to that, and that would be a great and
Mhm.
a great benefit of somebody. But again,
Mhm.
if you're investing in this, especially the physical, it's not something you're trading. It's not like an options call, or this is
Mhm.
something you're holding, and it's like a long-term investment.
Mhm.
Just like people had Disney bonds in the 50s,
Oh
and kids
wow.
probably got it. Some kids probably got it for Christmas, and it was like Disney was worth like 5 cents,
Oh.
and some little kid was like, "Really, you got me this?" And then if they would have kept that, it would have been worth a lot of money now.
Mm,
Um, so just something to think about. Gold could be that.
mm.
We'll do one more. You could pick it.
Please,
What do you
please.
want?
Whatever. Keep me on my toes. Give me something else.
I'm gonna just go down this list here. Uh, here we go.
What you got?
AMC.
Oh man, I'm definitely passing that bad boy.
But tell us why. Tell us why. Why you passing?
Um,
You're gonna get a lot of hate for this one, for that call. But why you
oh, for
passing?
AMC, oh, that's easy. That's easy. Hey, oh, I love the haters. Um, no, because I have a lot of friends that are excited about it, but that could be manipulated like directly from the front office, and we kind of saw that a little bit. Everybody they're hoping on the short squeeze, but the problem is that if the CEO decides to issue more shares and increase the shares outstanding, right, and take profits, it could dilute the shares essentially. So it's not a finite amount. I personally think it's a bad strategy. I think Wall Street bets could do a better job on focusing other things, specifically commodities, not necessarily gold and silver. There are other commodities, but you know that there's a finite amount. Now you might not know the fine. I know Bitcoin's like you don't know how many of this commodity is out there. It has to be mined or whatever, right? But you can still gauge, right? With stocks, I could just issue new shares as the CEO. So I think trying to short squeeze that could be a bad idea if the CEO doesn't have diamond hands.
Yeah, you're right. Um, my call, smash or pass. I would pass on a long term hold for it, and this is coming from bias because before this all happened, Matt knows
Called it.
two
Nah,
dollars a
you
share for AMC.
called it.
I
You
was in
called
there.
it.
I
He
had
said I was in
400. Yeah, I had 400 shares of AMC
there.
when it
Wow.
was like
It's a lot of money.
$2.48 a share.
It's a lot of money.
So as a long term hold at these prices, I'm passing. But if you do want to make money, I would not be against you doing some call options, because just looking at this chart here, the next level of a next hard level of support of resistance would be at the like $50 something range, which is about $4 from where it is today. So if you got some in the money calls out for like January or February, you might make some money on that call. So I would not do that with a large percentage of the portfolio. Again, that's a risk play. It can happen. A lot of people are calling for $100 share, and being that it's a round number, I can see it going there. But go back to Dogecoin. Dogecoin, everybody was thinking it was going to get there, and it got to $80, and then now it's back under 30. So how many people are actually going to hold the more it goes up? How many people, when it gets to $60, or these prices here, $51,
Right.
$57, $64, how many of these people that were scared because they bought here and they saw their money come all the way down, how many of them are selling every time it goes up just because they're scared, and they don't want to deal with it again? They just want their money back. They don't even want to profit. They just want to make their money back. So just keep that in mind. I could see that being why this right here is a level of resistance, because a lot of people lost money even at these levels. And they saw their money go from $40 to $20, so just keep that in mind. But we're over the 1 hour mark. What are some last comments you got?
I just last comment slash question. Bitcoin smash or pass, and end the year, end the year, end the year prediction. End the year prediction. And no, I don't want you to think somebody's gonna hang you if you're off by the exact penny amount.
All right, so we got to pull it up.
Nah, man, I'm only seeing the smash or pass screen. I'm not seeing it. Before I saw your stuff. I'm not seeing it now.
You're seeing smash or pass.
Yeah.
All right, Bitcoin price prediction for December 31st or for January 31st?
Let's do January 1st. Let's round it off.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me look at the exact price right now. And for the viewers, I hold 0 Bitcoin currently. I've held it before, but I hold 0 currently. So full disclosure there. So the price is currently 47.45.9. Year end December 31st, I'll say $65,480. That's my price prediction for it. That's my bull case. My bear case is back to the $30,000 range. Wow. And that's because of this bear market. I had it going starting, the end of August. We're almost in September and the bear market hasn't started. So, it's kind of not going according to plan right now. So I'll stay with the crowd and go up.
Wow.
Stay up. But so, according to that prediction, I'm not going to personally buy it. I'm not against somebody buying it. I'm a pass, but I'm not against somebody buying it. Okay. And the reason I'm going to pass is simply because I believe in the flippening. And for those who don't know, we talked about it before, but the flippening is when Ethereum surpasses Bitcoin as the highest market cap. And I would be more of a buyer of Ethereum at these levels because I could see it going to 25,000 more than Bitcoin is. More people are learning about Ethereum and a lot of projects are being built on Ethereum. And Ethereum is going to get through these troubles it's dealing with right now as they go through a transitional period. But not buying Bitcoin right now, not buying Ethereum right now would be like not buying the iPhone, not buying Apple when they reduced the price of the iPod, because a lot of people panicked when they did that. And now they're the biggest company in the world. So just leave it at that. But those are the thoughts. Please tune in. We're going to be doing this daily. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're motivated to start doing this. Matt's in Japan, like he's staying up to do this for y'all. So I hope y'all appreciate it. I appreciate you, Matt.
I enjoy this.
All right. Yeah. Me and Matt are all about the money. So with all that said, until next time.